Here we
All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Alita Spire. I'm one of the national marketing directors on the Heat team. And we have this call every second Tuesday,
first.
Tuesday of every month for the whole Heat team. And we are super, super excited to have a spectacular guest speaker tonight. Who is Skyleur Steffensen? You know, I come from a professional baseball background with two sons and a husband who played pro ball. So I call him the best acquisition we've ever gotten. How do you guys feel about that? Put your hand up. I just think I was super impressed when we got a chance to meet him for the first time. I loved his energy and everything else. And Skyler's been in this industry for 20 years. He's married and has five amazing boys, and he's committed to the success of Juice Plus. I have four boys, Skyler, and two girls. You stopped too soon.
Maybe that is the case. We tried for the girls and finally gave up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So just to clarify Skyler's role, he is heavily involved in sales operations, and meaning developing sales tools, programs, incentives. We love the Strive for Five, Skyler, and it certainly got me going. I did it 2 months. So, and he's
nice.
not heavily involved in IT operations. So I'm going to give you guys a caveat. The caveat is he is not going to be able to provide specific on those types of issues that some of you guys were asking me about. I think one of them was like moving and having to move orders to a certain date inside of a 4 month delay, or rushing orders on a smaller scale, or matching the back office with customer portals. So if you choose to put a question in the chat, please don't put one of those questions in there, because if we do have time, we'll be able to answer the questions that he has specifically for us. So he will, however, take feedback and follow up on expectations and deliverables. So, but that is not the focus of his role. And he has promised me that he will take those questions to IT. And so, with that, let's dig in. I will field anything he can answer in the chat box if we have time. So, Skyler, are you visible? Are you on the? I
I'm
think.
I'm looking at my screen and I'm like right next to you, highlighted right
Okay,
next to you.
very cool.
Great.
Very
It's like we're in the same room.
okay, super. So the first question is, will there be any product or business videos for different age groups like baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, or business videos for specific genres like hairstylists, personal trainers, medical pros? We used to have a few of those in our Healthy uh, Living Revolution website that we used to have. And so I'm just curious on whether or not that's in the works.
Yeah, it's a good question. But before I get to the questions, let me just give you a quick introduction. Alita talked a little bit about who I am and where I come from, and she asked me for a bio. And she said, what do you want everyone to know? And I said, all I want people to know is I'm committed to Juice Plus, and I am absolutely committed to Juice Plus. I want you to know that first of all, because I know what our potential is, and I know we're not there yet, but I know what it is, and I see that clearly. And I have talked to Travis about that many times before I came on board, and many more times since I've come on board. I believe that. And then I told her I'm a family man, and I love my kids. I love my family. So I have to tell a quick story, and then I promise I'll get to the question.
Oh, yeah, we wanted to know where you came from and how you ended up with us too. That's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, I'm happy to tell you that. So before I get there, I have a 13, so I have two 19-year-old boys, an 18-year-old boy, a 13-year-old boy, and a 10-year-old boy.
Woo!
Yeah, it's a lot. Two of them are adopted, three of them are biological. So we have this great family, and my 13-year-old decided to take up track. This is the first year he ran track, and he made it to the district finals, which we were super excited about. So his district final was today, and he didn't place. He was running against seventh and eighth graders. He didn't place, but he had a goal. His fastest mile, so he runs the mile or the 1600. And the fastest he had ever run it was 5 minutes and 40 seconds. And he had a goal to run it in five and a half, under 5:30. And we got his results a couple of hours ago after the race. You get the results, and he was at 5:29.91. And so we made it. And we were so excited that he made it. And it's one of those moments that it's just a proud dad moment. So, um,
Wow.
excited about that. But a little bit about myself. I did start in the network marketing industry back in 2006. I was actually coming out of college and looking for jobs. I had a job opportunity in Las Vegas, working in the real estate market. And then I had this opportunity with a company called Melaleuca. And fortunately, I ended up with Melaleuca because we all know what happened in 2008 and 2009 with the real estate industry. So who knows where I would have been if I would have taken that other job. But took a job with Melaleuca, really started to understand, what direct sales was about and how it worked. And I spent 9 years there, a great learning environment and a great company, to be honest, but decided to go a different direction. Went to a startup company. I realized I am not the startup company type of guy. It was just you play every role. And I'm like, I'm not a finance guy. Why am I dealing with finances? So I was there about a year. Ended up leaving that job to go to a company called Kyani. And Kyani was a company in Idaho, a local company. It was a juice company. It came about around the same time as Zango and Tahitian Noni. Had a lot of success there. Had a great group of individuals, great mentor there. But unfortunately, we had a tragic accident. I was actually with Travis Garza at that company. We had a tragic accident where we lost both of our founders in a plane crash.
Oh,
Um, and since that happened, we Travis and I and others, regrouped. We tried to continue that company, but it ended up selling to a company called Amare. Um,
oh,
and I worked at Amari for a couple of years, and I liked the mission statement. I liked what they stood for, but got a call from Travis Garza, and I have the highest amount of respect for Travis and what he does and what he stands for and what type of man he is and what type of leader he is. And he said, "Hey, I'm looking for someone to help us at Juice Plus here. We have some amazing products, amazing community, amazing leaders, but we got some problems right now." And I'm looking for someone to come in and see what we can do to help. So that's the long story of how I got here. And I'm incredibly grateful to be here, to be part of this group, to be part of this family. It really does feel like a family. I've told people that inside and outside of Juice Plus since day one. I've said this place is crazy. It feels like you just become a member of the family overnight. And I love that. I love that about the community and the family that we have. So now to answer your question, because I haven't forgotten the question, what are we doing for different age groups? Um, I'll tell you about a couple initiatives that we're running. We have a group. It's called the Next Gen Group, and it's really only about, let me think, 6 or 7 leaders within this Next Gen Group. And what we do is we meet fairly often, and we say, hey, who is the avatar and by avatar, what's the demographic and what does this person look like who you're looking for? And so within this next gen group, they're typically moms, in their 30s or 40s, have a couple of kids. That's who the group is. And what they're looking for, it was interesting because we asked that question and we said, who is this person? And they're looking for, of course, people similar to them. So they're looking for moms. They're looking for moms who are busy, right? Because moms who are busy usually get more done than just about anybody. They're looking for people with influence. They're looking for people. In fact, I have the list here. I'll see if I can go over this. Moms in their 30s, part-time job. I thought that was interesting. They're looking for people with a part-time job to say, okay, they're making some money, but they want to make a little bit more, or maybe they want to get out of that part-time job. New moms with young babies, stay-at-home moms, moms with 3 or more children. Somebody said that. Health conscious, entrepreneurs, have some time freedom, influential people who have some money but not a lot. I thought that was interesting. Want additional income, same values, business owners preferred. So we did that exercise to say, what can we do to help this group? And what can we do to really design some assets around that? So your question was about videos and what are we doing? That's one group where we think we can really create some cool assets and some cool videos. And so videos are one thing, social media assets are a huge thing in today's world, and especially in that group of, let's say late 20s to mid 40s. That group is really the group who says, I just want to take things and I want to share them on my social media channels, and I want to have something easy to share. And so we went on and we asked, well, what are you looking for? Um, and they said, education videos. It's really important for education about our products. How do you educate someone? But here was the important part. They have to be less than 5 minutes, right? So here, that's what we're trying to do is how do you create education in snippets? How do you create education in bite-sized pieces where you can say, look, go here for a few minutes. If you want to learn more, go here for a few minutes, right? And so that's one of the areas we're attacking to say, how do we create these little snippets that we can attract different groups, whether it's next gen, whether it is baby boomers, whether it's health professionals, what can we do to create those? Now, I want to set realistic expectations and let you know they're not going to be on tomorrow. They're not going to be on 2 weeks. But we can develop a plan where within a couple of months we can start releasing a video maybe every 30 days or so to say, hey, this is something to help you out. So we do want to create those videos, those assets for different groups, for different demographics, because it's important to attract different demographics. One of the sayings that is cliche, but I love it, is if you market to everyone, you market to no one. And so you have to be able to market to different demographics. So that was a really long answer to that question. I promise not every answer will be that long, but that's the answer to that, Alita.
I love it. I love the coming out with maybe one every 3 weeks or something. So we have a chance to focus in on that genre. And it would be great. That would be really great.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next question would be when will the pay in full price be replaced by the monthly installment price when the people click on the product?
It should have been released by now, actually, because I do a weekly digital update for our national marketing directors and above, and that was one of our deliverables 2 weeks ago, I believe. So what we did take that feedback and say, look, right now it says, for example, $320 for the trio capsules, but we're going to change it to show the installment price.
Right.
So that should have been corrected by now. If it's not, please let me know, because that actually should be live. That was something that we had in development and had promised to deliver. So if that's not the case, it is not, someone says.
Has
Okay.
anybody logged into their Juice Plus to see if it is? No, it's not. Tyra just said it's not.
Nope.
Okay.
Superfoods comes up and it's the full price.
Okay.
But I actually placed an order and it did come up. So
Interesting.
I've seen it come up where the monthly is first. So
I
maybe
haven't,
it's,
I haven't at all either. It comes up, I mean, you can click down and hit the monthly, but not
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah, it just pops
So,
up 350.
so it's
There's
mixed results. That's interesting to
I
me.
mentioned
Okay.
that too. So that's a good thing to take back. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to our team and say,
Yeah,
hey, it's working for some, but it's not working for all. And I don't know if it's a clear your cookies, but I will get an answer. I'm not saying that's the answer,
thank you
but I will
so much.
get an answer as to why some people are seeing it and others aren't.
Right. I did ask Skyleur about the starter box for new reps, and they're evaluating the cost versus the return of investment. So, but I see a promotion here later, maybe like getting new reps and that being a promotion. But I just wanted you to know that he's already on that. He's already been discussing that.
Yeah.
One of the big questions is, and this happened this year, but going further regarding conferences, since you already have the dates planned way in advance, is there any set in stone timing so that when the learning labs, because people book their flights, like I know what I'm doing a year in advance, and we need 6 months in advance to book reasonable seat, and that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people can't come to conference because the costs are so prohibited. But it's difficult to switch all that at the last minute. Is there any set in stone timing? Are we looking at maybe getting something so we're not finding this out at the last minute?
Yeah, absolutely. we wanted to get this out early about this conference, and I know obviously the earlier the better. But we did want to get this out. We got it out in April, so we are still what, May, June, July, August, what, five and a half, 6 months out. I know that everyone tries to book early, and so I respect that and I understand that. To answer the question, the idea is to have a consistent flow of what that convention looks or conference looks like. And
Mhm.
so let me explain one thing because this has been a topic of discussion. And before we ended up making this change, we asked several individuals, several leaders, what their thoughts were. I know that learning labs is a hot topic. Some people are like, "Hey, we should do them on Thursday. We've always done them on Thursday." Here's why we changed learning labs. We will have new products to announce at the conference. We'll have new programs. We'll have new things at the conference. And if you do learning labs on a Thursday, you cannot talk about those. You cannot strategize around those because we haven't announced them yet. And so if you have a new product and you want to do a learning lab to say, "Hey, how do you take this new product and how do you build your business with it? How do you take this along with what we already have, our already incredible products, and how do you build a business with it?" Well, you can't do that if you do learning labs on Thursday because we make a big announcement, we do a big thing about, talking about the product and the science. And
Right.
so that's part of the reason we moved learning labs. So to give you a more concrete answer, the idea moving forward is the schedule that we have now, where we have, Thursday is a day where we have most likely an NMD meeting on Thursdays. And then Thursday nights we'll have smaller conferences or smaller meetings, I shouldn't say not conferences, but smaller meetings like the Hispanic group, like the Canadian group, like the Next Gen group. We'll have, smaller meetings on Thursdays. Friday, we have a full day of general sessions. Saturday, we do a general session in the morning. We do learning labs in the afternoon, and we do a farewell party. That's what we plan on doing moving forward. Um, One thing and I'll tell you this, this isn't concrete by any means, but one thing I would actually love to do, that I've done at other companies, is I would actually love to open up the gala to everybody. That's something that I think is kind of a fun thing because people love to dress up. Like we all like to play dress up at some point. You get a fancy dress or you get a fancy tuxedo or whatever, and you get to go to this exclusive event. It's beautiful. You have a great dinner, and that's where we could do a lot of recognition from throughout the year. So I am looking at that, not for this upcoming conference, but for the next conferences, is to say, how do you open that up? It's such a cool experience, and I'm sure some of you have already been to these galas. They're amazing, right? Juice Plus throws an amazing gala. So why not try to make it available to everyone?
That is a brilliant idea. I think people would
Yes.
love that.
That's what I'm hoping to do, and I think we will be able to do it. I just wasn't able to pull it off for Indianapolis.
Put
But
a heart,
moving
put a
forward.
heart in the comments if you like that idea, so he can send all those hearts back.
That's right.
Skylar, I see that you're doing so many things, and I love the way you keep us in the loop now, which is really appreciative. Like promising us that you're going to come on and just like have these monthly meetings, like the one you did this morning was great. I just think what other things do you have up your sleeve to keep our sales team sharp and wanting to keep the motivation to continue? Because it's tough right now. Like a lot of people are getting distracted with other stuff. And, we've gone through a struggle, and, the people that are on this call are definitely in the game. So I want you to know that that's a hopeful sign. But what other things do you have maybe that you can disclose to us to keep the sales team sharp and wanting to keep that motivation to continue?
Yeah, it's a great question. I have so many ideas that are floating around, some that are on paper, some that I'm like, that would be cool, but I haven't actually put it on paper yet. But I have an amazing team. I have a team that is dedicated to really helping develop tools for you, programs for you. So I'll tell you a couple of things. I'll tell you some of the feedback that we've got from conference. So I don't know how many of you actually saw the survey that we did right after conference. I don't know how many of you filled it out, but we got several hundred responses. So we got a really good response about not only conferences, but what can we do, to better get the word out about Juice Plus. Overwhelmingly, we got the feedback of we want more product training. Like, how do we get more product training? How do we get better at sharing how great our product is? And so that is a focus for us, is how do we highlight our product? What I've heard, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, is what I've heard is that you used to be able to say a lot more about the product, and now you feel like you're kind of handcuffed by regulatory things, by certain things you can and cannot say. We're trying to work with our compliance team to say, hey, can we loosen the reins a little bit? Can we let them talk about how great these products are? Now, of course, you can't say they're going to cure cancer. That's not okay. But what can we say? What are the things we can say and do? And what are the assets we can provide, such as videos, such as social media shareables, that people can go out and start talking about Juice Plus the way they want to talk about Juice Plus. So that's one of the things we're heavily focused on. Another thing I'm hyper focused on right now is I don't, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time if someone loves this part of our business, but I don't think the hub is the most effective platform to be able to have all the information you need. I think there's a lot of great information on there. I think it's extremely hard to find, and I don't think it's modern. And so we're looking at modernizing the information from the hub. What does that mean? It means finding a platform where you can have all the access that the hub has, all the content that the hub has in an organized fashion, but at the same time, you have almost an all-in-one platform where you can actually view your back office reports. You can actually share a video from the platform, and it actually tracks when the prospect that you sent it to watches it so that you can follow up with it. And I could go on and on about this platform. It's a platform I've used before, and it's something that can modernize our business where you can do everything from your phone. You can view your reports, you can view your business, you can send things, you can track. It also has a section where you can track who has ordered within the last 90 days. And then who has ordered within the last 90 days that has not ordered in the last 60. And so you have some follow-up. Like, there's some things that you can do on a platform like this, including what's on the hub, and you can move everything to a simple platform, a simple way to manage your business. And one other thing you can do is you can actually create modules for trainings. So if we want to say, hey, once you start as a partner, start here, start with module 1 or whatever we call it. Here's how to start a conversation. Click on this. Here's module 2. Here's how to close. Just different ways that you can walk people along the path of being a partner. Oh, sorry, I got this thing on my hand from the track meet, but I was like, what is that? Anyway, got distracted. But different ways that you can walk someone along the path of being a partner, and doing it all in one place. I think that's so key to what we can do. And I'm working really hard to deliver that by Indianapolis. So
Wow, well, that's great. Are you considering, like, is it just an additional subscription within Shopify?
I'm working on having it not be a cost to partners. That is my hope, is that we can take the funds that we pay for the hub to manage the hub and upkeep the hub, and transfer them over here so that the partner gets it and doesn't have to pay an additional fee, monthly, yearly, whatever, that we're able to just provide this and that you have it in your hands.
Mhm.
So that's a sneak peek. We're still in the works on that, but I think there's a lot of hope for that. Those are the kinds of things that if we can create things as a company that make your job easier, then we're doing our job right. If
Right.
we're making your job more difficult, we're doing something wrong. And I want to admit that we have made your jobs more difficult with some of the things that you've had to deal with. Some of the digital transformation issues, we have made your job harder, and I recognize that, and we are working hard to remedy that. So our job is to remove barriers along your path so that you can just do what you do best. These are some of the things we're doing to try to do that, to try to help you.
Well, I've heard from some people, like, why are they introducing more products when we always had a small product line? But I just want the IT to be done. I just want that to be finished first. Now, why are we doing that? Are we getting distracted? So, what is your answer to that when people say that?
Yeah. The IT has to be fixed. That's number one. Number one overall, IT has to be fixed. And I can promise you that it is the number 1, 2, and 3 priority at corporate right now.
Mhm.
Everybody is hyper focused on getting that corrected. So I want to make sure that's clear. It's not that we've taken our eye off the ball from IT. It is number one. It is everything to correct that because we can't do what we need to do as a company until it's corrected. We
Right.
just can't move forward the way we want to move forward. So I hope everyone understands that is absolutely the focus, whether it's from sales, whether it's from IT, whether it's from marketing, whether it's from accounting, everything points to the digital transformation to say, how do we fix it? So that
Right.
is still number one. But to answer your question about products, in order to have success, you do have to innovate and you have to find different ways to attract people. And so we have the most incredible products out there and we can prove it with clinically, with clinical trials, with everything that we have. There's no company that can compete with the products that we have. But even then, you have to be able to innovate and you have to be able to show new things to excite people and to bring new people on to say, you know what? Maybe these capsules aren't for me. Maybe I have a hard time, superfood, for example. Maybe I have a hard time swallowing capsules. So how can we deliver that in an innovative new way? Oh, well, let's create a drink. And for people who struggle with that, this might be a better option. There's other areas that we haven't even tapped into. I mean, we are in whole food nutrition, but there are other areas that we haven't even tapped into that there's such a huge market for. There's a lot of different opportunities for us to take our core product and not remove the emphasis from it because that will always be our hero product, but to
Right.
add different things on where people can find a way into Juice Plus.
Right. I have two more questions, and then we're coming to an end here. One of them is, is there any talk at all of the company streaming part of the conference, maybe one day, or streaming the whole thing? I know a lot of companies like Isogenics and some other companies, I've been invited to them. Hey, we're streaming this. And there is a place for moms with 7, 8 kids that just can't make it. And I feel when we had the COVID thing happen, we rented a bunch of mansions and we have brought everybody there. And it was really nice to have that venue to be able to learn with everybody at the conference. I know it takes a lot of the being in person there, but is there any talk about some of it being streamed at all?
Not right now, if I'm being completely honest. And there are reasons why. No, number one is that there is no better experience than being in person. Anyone who's been to a conference can tell you that there's no better experience than being in person. And that there are certainly reasons why people can't come, and there are certainly reasons why we should do it for many people. Um, but what we don't want to do is have the people who would come and would want to come who say, you know what, it's just easier to watch it in my living room because it's just not the same experience.
Right,
You cannot get the emotions of that.
right,
So that's the number one reason. Number two, it is quite pricey because you have to do translations, you have to do things like that. And if you want to do it right, you're looking at a pretty large bill. And our choice is to put those funds and that money into the event itself to make it the best event we can. So that's not to say we won't look at that in the future, but for Indianapolis, we don't have any plans to stream at this point.
right. So how about like this morning, you mentioned rank versus promotion. Is that something that we're changing the language with?
I
I know
saw
a lot.
someone I saw someone mention that. That's just me being new. And I'm sorry that I'm not trying to confuse. That's just me
No,
being
I'm just wondering if we're using that. I mean, I have used that term before too, but I'm just wondering if it's something where we are changing the name of that or is it promotion only?
No, we don't have any plans to change the name.
Okay.
I don't want to I did not mean to confuse. I saw that in the chat at one point. I was like, oh shoot, did I say rank? Because I know we use the word promotion. Whether or not we do something like that in the future where we change what that looks like, I'm not sure, but I don't want to set off any alarm bells that all of a sudden we're going to change the name of the rank of the promotions or that we're going to change to the word rank.
Yeah.
That's just me being new using terminology I've used in the past. So I apologize for creating confusion on
Oh,
that.
don't worry about it. It was just a question somebody asked.
Yeah, I
Okay,
get it.
we are coming to a close. I don't know if somebody has a burning desire to ask him one more question that has nothing to do with IT. If you do, you can unmute yourself and ask it. Um,
Hey,
Alita, I just wanted to comment, really, I thought that, maybe it'll just make me bigger. I thought that what you talked about tonight is so different than so many other Zoom calls we've had with corporate family. And part of that has to do with Alita asking questions, and that was really beautiful, Alita. But I felt like there was something like so specific and intimate about each of the things that you talk about. And I just really wanted to thank you for that because it was very different. I don't know if you felt that, Alita, but it was really different than a lot of other talks that we have from leaders and or corporate. And I'm hoping the rest of you noticed the way in which Skyleur approaches things, the way it feels like he's been with our company a long time and gets us. I don't know. I just really want to thank you.
It's
That's
really nice of you, Nikki.
coming from
I
100
appreciate that.
Clubber.
What's that?
I said that feels good coming from 100 Clubber.
No, I appreciate it, Nick. It means a lot to me. I've tried to integrate myself as much as I can and put myself in your shoes as much as I can, even though I know that's impossible. You do so many things that I will never understand fully, but I really, part of what I love is working directly with you as leaders to say, what are the pain points? What are the things that we can do to make your job easier? And so that's why a lot of these are very direct answers because I think that's what you want.
Right. And you're so approachable and humble, and we really like that about you, Skyleur. Don't ever change. I'm sure your boys will keep you in
They
line.
keep me humble. They remind me that I'm old all the time. So
Absolutely. Well, I want
Alita,
to-
can I ask one question?
sure.
It's Tyra. I was just going to say, actually, someone put in the chat, Skyleur, for the Luminate, do you know if they're going to have a study on using our Luminate at all?
a clinical study?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can get back to you. I'll talk to our marketing team. That's typically done with our marketing team and our doctors to say, hey, what? Oh, there you are. I was like, who asked that question? It's typically done with our marketing teams and our doctors to say, hey, what do we need to do to solidify, the value of this product? And so I will ask, and I will get back to Alita, and then she can pass it along to this team, and I'll give you an answer one way or another.
And
So.
this is Sandy. What about a subscription for Luminate? I have some Luminate groupies like me, and they have it in their calendar to order it every
So
month.
we have that now. We have it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, that just launched actually a few days ago.
I missed it.
We
Oh, yeah.
just barely launched it. So ask and you shall receive.
And if you want to find out about it, it's on the Heat Team boards in the Luminate folder.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, it is. Luminate on subscription is great. We're super excited about that as an opportunity. I know you've been asking for it. And so we were finally able to deliver, and we're very excited for that option.
Well, do you want to unmute and everybody give a big thank you to Skyleur?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Appreciate
We
it.
appreciate
Tyler,
it.
good conference.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you
I
so
appreciate
much.
you.
That's great.
Thanks
Good
for
night,
joining
everybody.
us.
Wonderful. It's great.
Thank you so much, Alita. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Anytime I'm happy to jump on these calls with your team and just spend some time with all of you. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a great
Okay.
night.
Thanks,
Night,
Alita.
everyone.